Brittany. I'm a self-love coach, self-care connoisseur, and supplement enthusiast. This podcast is all about taking your power back in your own life by creating a killer self-care routine and discovering a love for all parts of you. Mind, body, and soul. Being a mom is fucking hard, and that's not even including the mental roller coaster you go on to discover who you are as a person again. I'm here to help you regain your confidence and stop putting yourself on the back burner. It's been a while. You're probably going to hear some background noise, and I have a few little updates. I know what I want this podcast to be now. We talk about real shit, real problems, real things, and I think I was trying to make it too by the book and too strategized. I like strategy, but sometimes you just have to go with what is meant to be said and not overthink it. And I think I was doing that a little bit too much with that. Okay, so here's my update. My life has flipped around quite a lot. If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, come on, let's do that. Because I'm over on Instagram a lot. I post my stories every single day. I usually will post reels and posts and things like that, giving insight. I write a lot better than I speak, I feel like. Writing is my jam. I can really kind of get it out of my head and onto paper. And so I don't know what it is, but that just feels really good. And it feels like not as much pressure. And I can actually think. I don't have to think about the words I'm saying or how I'm saying them. I can just write it. So I really like post captions for me because I can really just quite literally spell it out. You already know, if you are over on Instagram with me, that I'm pregnant. I'm having a little boy. Right now, as I'm recording this, I am just in my third trimester, 28 weeks. So as I record these, I'm probably going to be out of breath a lot. Sorry for the headphone users, but it is how it is. I'm doing the best I can. Okay. Like most of us are, we're just doing the best we can. My daughter's going to be 5 in July, which is so insane to me. She's grown up so much. And when they say time flies and it, in a blink of an eye and all those sayings you hear when you first have kids, it's crazy how true that feels. And you're like, whoa. And I felt like I've had a little mom guilt around that because I was I feel like I didn't do everything that I wanted to with her as she was growing up and things. No matter how well you work on the mom guilt, it's still just like with anything you work on, it's still going to pop up. It's still going to be one of those things that you have to constantly work on. And I hate to say it like that because it does suck, but it does get easier the longer you do it and the more you do it, because it's like with anything, you become more skilled at it. I tell my toddler or my preschooler, practice makes perfect. Sometimes we don't get it in the first try, but that's okay. We keep trying and we do our best, and it'll get easier the longer we do it, right? We talk about this all the time. We tell our kids this. What makes it any different for us? In the beginning of parenthood, I felt almost numb. And I started to get a little bit of that last year. And I was shutting my feelings down, and I felt like I just didn't care. I didn't have that. I had compassion for my kid. Obviously, I didn't want her to be hurt. I had a really strong connection with my daughter. I know that's not the case for every mom, but I did have that. But I had almost no compassion for other people. And I felt like everything was just a blur, and I was just trying to survive and get through it. She had colic, so she was up a lot. And although now I can look back and see how much people had helped me and how much my husband really was there for me, at the time it can seem like you're all alone because of all of the emotions and everything that's kind of going through. And I know I'm kind of sidetracked from what we were originally talking about. It was just supposed to be a little life update. But talking about mom guilt for me is something that I'm really fucking good at helping with mom guilt, because I feel like I've mastered it, because I have had so much and I was sick of feeling that way. And it still pops up, but realizing she has grown and I've done the best that I can, or the best that I could, and knowing that I really did give her better than I was given, and my parents gave me better than they received, and I hope that continues. But just looking at it in a way of, you know, you did the best you could, you're doing the best that you can, and caring for them, and being concerned with being a good mom, and showing up for them every day, really giving it, I don't want to say your all, but some days it is your all, you're giving your all, but trying to leave that little extra bit for yourself and not give it all away. I know that can be hard too. With mom guilt, the way I've tried to navigate it is looking at her, seeing the growth that she's had, seeing she's becoming this kind human, and being the example for her, and realizing in the last 5 years how amazing it's been to just be a mom and be able to be there for her, and like see, just like with anything, you know, you put time into something every single day, and you be able to start to see like the tree bear fruit, I guess, if you will. Like you start to see that come into fruition. It's a beautiful thing, as most of you know, but mostly for the newer moms, just do what you have to do. They're not going to remember. They are literally just trying to survive like you, eat, sleep, and shit, like just like you are. And that can be really frustrating, and it feels like a lot, and I'm about to go through that again. So I'm sure I'll have some more tips and things, and I'm, you know, on how to kick postpartum's ass, because that's what I'm most excited for. I did not kick its ass in the first go round, so this time I'm ready to like give it a swift kick, because I'm ready. And I feel like as a first time moms, most of the time you don't have the resources, or you don't know what you're doing. There's no handbook, there's nothing. You literally are handed this person, and you're said, I mean, you know, you could prepare as much as you want, but when it comes down to it, anything can fly your way. It's hard. And it's hard when other people try to tell you, do this, do that, like, don't do this, don't do that. And there's so many opinions out there. If you love your child and you care for them and you're giving them the life that you want for them, and that's all that matters, right? You're doing the best that you can. And I'm going to keep saying that because motherhood's hard. So let's switch back to mom guilt really quick, and then I'll give you the rest of my life update. So I'm going to give you a few little pointers if you're dealing with mom guilt. It can feel really, really heavy. It can feel like physical heaviness, maybe in your chest or in your body. So usually I tell people to kind of tap into that, because you can kind of look and see, tapping in, like close your eyes, take a second. I know sometimes that's really, really hard for people. It's easy to pick up a phone and distract yourself. I get it, because I've done that. I have moments where I have to like check in with myself and realize, oh shit, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to distract my mind. I'm trying to not feel the things that I need to be feeling. Putting that phone down, putting whatever that distraction is, TV, whatever, away for a while, and sit with yourself for at least a minute or so. Take 60 seconds, like 30 seconds if you can. I know depending on the situation, it's hard. And really feel those emotions. I would have rather had my mom feel her emotions and communicate with me and tell me how she was feeling. Now, obviously, we don't want to pour all of our heaviness on our children, but communicate and take that second and realize, like, hey, I'm a human too, and I need to take this time for myself, versus just like letting the anger and the sadness swell up and then outburst. And again, my mom did literally the best that she could, and I love her very much, and she is grown and she's amazing. So I'm not dogging on my mom at all. She had a hard time, but I would have rather her communicated with me and had some sort of understanding between us. So just as an example to show you, like, that's why for me, now this does not work for everyone, but this is what works for us. Communicative parenting, or communication-based parenting. I don't know if this is a real thing, but this is what I call it, is what I do. So feeling into my emotions, taking care of myself first, and realizing, like, hey, you know, when they're older and they can, oh, that's beautiful, baby. I love that. Oh, is that sand or?
It's glitter.
Oh, it's glitter. Feeling your emotions, feeling your feelings, realizing where those are stemming from, treating yourself first, because you always have to put yourself first in parenting. And obviously, like, sometimes we do have to drop that and put our children first, depending on the situation. If it's not a life or death situation, then it's going to be okay. Like, you can step away for 30 seconds. You can put those headphones on if they're in a safe place. Infants, for instance, they're in a safe place and you need to step away, put those headphones on, put on some meditative music, and like drop in. Do that if that is what works for you. Now, I know, as they get older, you can have that communication with them and be like, hey, honey, like, this is, she's almost 5. She understands. She's so intelligent for her age. It's insane and very understanding, but she does have a lot of, they have a lot of emotions too. So showing her that I'm having these frustrations, sadness, whatever, like showing her, Mama's just really frustrated right now because I'm getting angry because you're not listening to me. So I need to take a second just to like deal with this, and then we can come back and we can talk about it, or whatever. Sometimes she doesn't understand and we have to navigate that. Doing your best is really all you can do. I know I've said that a million times. I repeat myself a lot, especially when it's important, because I want you to understand that it's hard. It really is hard. And most of you parents, especially the ones that really, really genuinely care, are in there for your children day in and day out. And you're there and you are, you're reading the things, you're listening to the things, and you maybe not. Like, I try not to listen or read other things sometimes because I don't want it to cloud my judgment, because I know that as a maternal figure, I know what's best, for my child, because no one knows my child. And so sometimes that can be too much. But, if you're actively trying, you're probably doing just fine. Like, I'm sure you're just fine. But the mom guilt that pops up, it can feel heavy, feel into your body, feel where that's at. If it needs a hug, maybe it's your inner child that's like reacting to something that your parent did or guardian that did, or maybe you didn't have either, or whatever it was. You can go there and give that child what they need. And that can feel like a hug. And again, this is something that you practice, because sometimes it won't come to you as quickly as in 30 seconds to feel what you need to feel. It comes in sometimes 30 minutes. Like, I hate to say it, but it takes as long as it takes. And that practice is where your body is going to give you that message, and you're going to know exactly what you need, and you're going to trust that intuition, and you're going to trust your mind, trust your body, and know that this is how you're going to take care of it, and it'll be done in 30 seconds. And understanding, like, I used to have mom guilt about, oh my gosh, I could be in there playing with her or doing something with her. Oh gosh, put your legs around me, right here. I could be playing with her or doing something with her, and instead of recording this podcast, and I used to have mom guilt around that. And now I realize I flip the script and reframe what you're doing. Why are you doing it? Are you working? Are you spending time for yourself? Okay, what is that going to do for your kid? And I know sometimes it doesn't need to be able to do something for your children, but if that takes what it takes to get you out of that mom guilt mindset and feeling guilty about what you're doing, and all your brain power is focused on, I should be doing whatever else, then focus on, what is this going to do for my kids? So for me, this podcast is going to do a few things, right? So it could be supporting other moms and showing my daughter that caring for other people is not a bad thing, especially in the world we live in. Caring for other people is important, and we want to protect our energy, but we also want to give out what we can when we can. And for me, this podcast is something. It's also a good hobby for me. It's a good outlet to kind of get me talking uncensored, and I get to kind of express what I need to express. Or it could be a financial opportunity for me. Podcasts, they make lots of money, or it could lead people to my coaching, and I get to help women that way. So I'm not just making that income, but I'm also helping other women and doing what lights me up and makes me happier, which makes me a better mom. So you could spin this a million different ways. And if you can't find a way to spin it, that's why you need me, because I can spin it for you and I'll show you. And I'll help you find your way so you believe it and you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. I don't even know if that makes sense. Whew. That is the mom guilt thing that I have going on. So the rest of my update, I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but I'm having a little boy. I know I said I was pregnant. Having a little boy. We are done. I'm done after this. We're going to have my girl, we got my guy, and we're done, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and we're going to be buying our home by the end of the year. Probably shortly after he's born. And
us getting a new house.
Well, the new house won't be. We're living in the house we're buying. But that new house is something we're working on long term. It's something we're working on later, right? Yeah. So there's a few other things that have changed as far as my mindset, especially in the last 8 months or so, almost 9 months. It was a few months before I found out I was pregnant. I started to look at a lot of things in my life, things that were influencing me, and things that weren't, and things that should have been influencing me. I started reading my Bible again. I started connecting with God again. I've always prayed, but it just, I don't know, it really like adding into my spirituality and getting into a religion without being in a religion. A lot of things have really come to light since I got pregnant, but definitely before. I spent a lot of time, I was really sick in my first trimester. So spending a lot of time in bed and alone and with Miss Ma'am has really showed me it's really important in what I truly want and what was being told, like what other people were telling me that I needed and wanted. Even as a strong woman, outside influences can always affect you, especially if it's over a long term. I got out of things that I loved and decided to start getting back into them. And with all of that being said, and giving you those updates and some guidance into mom guilt, I hope you're following me on Instagram. If not, it's at Balancing with Brittany. I appreciate you listening and taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And I hope this helped you in some sort of way. And I have a limited time promo going on. Shameless plug. It's pay what you can. I know with the economy the way it is, especially as parents, if you are a parent, it's really, really hard to do anything. Like, it's hard. It's tough. So for a while, I want to help the people, the women starting out, wanting to get leveled up, wanting to start on this journey of self-love, feeling their best, finding that fire, the things I'm really, really good at, for something that's not going to break the bank, right? $5 a week, $100 a month. This is a 4-week program. You pay for that first month. You pay whatever you can. We get some stuff worked out together. You get some quality coaching in. And it doesn't matter if you pay $5 or you pay $100. You're going to get the same quality anyone that signs up for this program would. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a review and share with another mama who could use some support. If you'd like to connect with me elsewhere, I'm on Instagram and TikTok. All my social links will be in the show notes. And just remember to love yourself and do something for you every single day.